Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first AR or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined tonight, as always, by my co-host, Garth Over.
Hi, how we doing?
Yeah, and the director of propaganda, Joe.
Good evening, everybody. How's it going?
Oh, well, guys, what are we doing today?
Well, I mean, we're in the farming season finally, so I get to do that. I actually snuck away tonight. I was like, "Hey, gotta go. Sorry, I can't make money."
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yes, and so, Joe, anything new with you or anything exciting?
Yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to pre-plan for some stuff I wanted to share, but maybe I'll worry about that later.
Joe, this is a safe space. You can share whatever you feel.
Well, you have to give me a minute because I got to email stuff from my phone to my computer so I can share what I wanted to talk about. Also, what I did this week, well, I had to go get donated blood, and then I picked up a bottle of Blanton's and a bottle of Four Roses that I didn't have a recipe for. But for shooting, we went out. We got that barrel put on the PCC and broke that in on Sunday. I did. JP recommends 3 20-round increments. Shoot 20, clean it, shoot 20. I ended up shooting 100. Still doing the cleaning between 20. It shoots pretty looks nice, shoots nice. Went out last night and after work and ran to the range to zero it because I didn't do that on Sunday when we were out shooting. Zeroed pretty good. It was zeroed, so then with the barrel switch, I ended up at 25 meters, about 2 to 3 inches to the right. So, about 8 to 12 MOA, and maybe I think I went up 1 inch. So changing the barrel out and putting that comp on there did cause some impact shift.
Well, that's to be expected.
No, exactly. Oh, yeah, 100%. But the groups it was shooting, and I forgot to bring my bags and all that stuff, so I was actually shooting off my ammo can and the magazine. It shoots pretty tight. They're talking, and with a 9mm, it's hard to judge your MOA when the group is in, the one group, it's one hole, but that bigger round compared to some of the rifle rounds. But it was, I'd say, nickel-sized groups at 25, and that was me not being super precise with my, I shot them pretty quick because that's the thing, like when you're zeroing a rifle, if you're zeroing for deer hunting, yeah, you want to know where that cold bore hit's going to be because that's the one that you should count. Now, when you're talking a competition gun where after the first couple rounds, that barrel starts to heat up, you want to see where that impact goes as a pair, versus your cold bore when it's hot. So I shot them relatively snappy, and it was shooting really good. I was able to ran a couple build drills with it before I left, and without pushing it too hard, I was easy 2 seconds. I think my fastest was like 198. But I'm looking forward to maybe Saturday getting out again and running some drills, and then seeing how it runs on Sunday for our first match.
Yeah, hopefully we get to shoot that. It's not blizzarding on Sunday. I want it to blizzard on Saturday, but Sunday it needs to be.
I don't want it to blizzard.
Rain. Rain, snow, doesn't matter. I'm going to take the moisture at this point.
Yeah, that's just a personal thing for me. I just want the rain, not snow.
I get it.
So
I get it.
Like I said,
Right
I
now,
did
I'm
that.
not going to choose. I'm going to beg.
Yeah.
I did take the Hellbreaker out again, and I did get some 300 blackout mags from Magpul, and it was not as productive as I wanted it to be. Where
Moist.
is my...
Does that word bother anyone? Moist. I'm just going to keep saying it throughout the night now. Moist.
That's what I want. Here, I got it. Okay. So, ordered magazines, 300 blackout magazines. The one on this one here, the one on the left is a 5.56 magazine, and these are the 208 grains. And this is on the right. You see the 300 blackout mag. It is quite a bit of difference in there. They open that.
Feed lips are cut.
Yeah, they open that up quite a bit for that bigger slug, that bigger round. And when I looked at that, I was like, all right, we got this fixed, right? And no, still having a feeding issue.
I still wonder if it isn't an ogive issue with that bullet.
Yeah, but I went to the range. Went to the range, took it with me yesterday, because when I bought the spring kit, that JP Silent Capture spring, I brought the whole spring kit. So I dropped the 80-pound, the lightest spring that came with it, because thinking here was, all right, these heavier, slower bullets aren't quite getting the bolt all the way back. So it's ejecting, but it's not clearing maybe the round. And then because it looks like it's not catching the
round
base
on the way up
when it hangs up. So I put that 80-pound spring in, and yeah, it didn't make a damn bit of difference. I was so pissed. I thought I had it. I'm like, all right, run around the light ones, and we're going to be good. I've looked at Olive, what is it? Oglive or Olive?
I pronounce it ogive.
Ogive. So I looked into that. I'm going to have to do a little bit more study on it.
I will nerd out and explain ogive later if we want.
My next
experiment
with it. So because my race gun has the light and bolt carrier group from that Rubber City Armory bolt group. I'm going to try that on the same idea that it just needs to clear the round. But at this point, I might just have to run 190s, because the 190s ran just fine. So that's where I'm at on that thing. I really thought I had it when I'm like, let's go with the lighter spring, and got nothing out of it. So that was my week.
Garth, did you do anything exciting?
Yeah, actually, I went to the range for a short time today, just while I had half hour to kill. I took my 380 out and my 9mm Glock in the pickup that I haven't shot in probably 4 months. So just went out and was doing a little work, because I put the flashlight on now. So I just wanted to see where the weight balance was and everything like that. And yep, can still hit a 10 and 20-yard target. So all things were good. But also, you and I did get to teach a class recently. So that was also enjoyable.
Yep, it was. We had a lot of good turnout for that. That was solid. I watched what is in the Rumble chat and asked if I'm still thinking of doing an 8.6 blackout. I haven't ruled it completely out, but it is.
I have a feeling I'm going to, whether it's by the queue, or what's queues, or build one from scratch. I think I'm going to do it, because I like playing with those weird.
If I do it, I do have a set of receivers here to use. So I have some 308 lowers that are spares laying around that would just need uppers for the, or pretty much just need an upper and a barrel for the build. And I am not ruling it out, but it is not the highest thing on my priority list at the moment.
I feel like I'm going to do it. I was a very early adopter on the 300 blackout. So I think I'm going to do it because it's an interesting round.
So I kind of want to keep it if I do it much like the theory with 300 Blackout. I'm going to run it mainly as a subsonic because it stores energy in rotation instead of in speed, which is an interesting concept for me because one, I want to like I've seen some testing and like done the math because I am a nerd who likes math and seen how the performance is on that from storing the energy from the rotation. And it still does hydrostatic shock, but it does it differently. So that wave when it impacts is just devastating, especially for the weight that it's carrying. Also, everyone, please bear with me tonight. I'm sorry if I make like sinusy noises. I have allergy season has begun here, and I got onto my allergy meds late today, so I am still dealing with some of that going on.
What?
I was not prepped for that to happen today.
Ooh. Okay. I was just looking at round count or round prices for the 8.6, just because that's the main reason on their own ones. They're expensive.
Yeah, Garth does not reload or build.
No, I don't. So meh. Yeah.
We have a like Nick's way over here. I want to build everything. I'm going to build my own stuff. Yeah, Garth's way over here where he's like, I just need to buy it and shoot it. I don't want to waste my time. I fall kind of in that middle. I like to play with stuff. I don't go down some of the nerdy data rabbit holes that Nick will go down, but I am a lot more interested in specific data and stuff like that as compared to Garth, where he's just like, don't care, what did it do? That's all I need.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we get a good balance
with dumb.
Yeah, I'm over here going, I'm going to make a tool so I can do this one obscure thing.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to go buy it.
We bought the jig and everything to build 300 Blackout 15 years ago. Like, let's just do it. And like that was when you were like, yeah, but with the Dylan, and I think it was as I was leaving for that first deployment, and you're like, we need a new head or the base or the plate for the Dylan and that, and I'm like, it's on its way. Like, I still like to play with that, get into some of that stuff, and
yeah,
I'm a technical person. It's just
and after we find a load that works with your 300 Blackout, we'll get one tuned up that runs in both of ours, and then we'll run with it and be ready to roll and mass produce a bunch of subsonic stuff because quiet guns are fun guns.
The quiet guns are fun guns,
no, so yeah, I did. Let's see, I went to the range on Friday and just ran a couple drills because reasons, and then we did the class. And the other thing was I got an adapter in for my Safariland holster, so it actually puts at the right angle instead of the stupid cant that they like to do. So I got the adapter from G-Code to put it at the proper angle so it draws straight, and did some run with that, and then we went and taught the class. Had a nice, we're technically one over what our normal max is, but it worked out, and I was very happy to see that. We also, I know that up here, Dutch Walker was saying, he was next to someone shooting sub 8.6 suppressed, and it was stupid quiet. But also, I got a special gift in the mail from Dutch today, and he sent us some cigars.
Oh, nice.
So we will be excited to try those out, possibly.
You sent me the link to the company. Was it like a variety pack or one specific?
No, it's so when he was explaining to me, they're a pipe tobacco cigar.
Yep, I was reading that. It's the guy he's got the creator or the I don't know what, it's not like a barrel master or brew master, but whoever, the guy that makes them is a very big pipe enthusiast, and he mixes tobacco pipe or pipe tobacco with his cigars, and it's. But that's what I was asking though. Did you get like just Sweet Janes, if that was the case, or was it like a variety pack?
No, this was just two of the standards. I think he only does one blend, but so I'll be excited for us to try those.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Oh, Collector is actually sending me a couple pocket holsters to try out for a gun of mine. So super stoked for that. He was asking me some questions the other day, and I told him that, well, the other day, like last month or whatever, and I told him I use those sticky holsters, and he's like, wow, those are cool, but I'm like, all right, cool, man. So they're on the way right now, so super stoked to try those out.
Nice. And no, then also I didn't actually do much for when we went to the range together on Sunday. I didn't have anything to test and tune for once. I kind of brought some old, standbys. I did have one minor issue that I got fixed. I had a RMR that I replaced the battery in a month ago, or like 2 weeks ago. And I popped out, put a new battery in it, put it in the safe, like test it. Yep, it's good to go. Put it in the safe, and the battery was bad. So I had to take it out, take it off, put a new battery in it again, and then look at it every day this week and be like, is it still good? Is it still good?
That's the fear with batteries, but
it is. But you can compensate for that if you learn how to shoot that. And that particular slide has lower third co-witness sights, so you can just clear, and you don't need to have it. So that is set up the way everyone would say you need to if you're going to run dots.
But if you didn't know, there's a fellow named Zach who will teach you how to shoot a red dot without a dot in it. It's pretty good class. So
yeah, we can get into shooting an included dot too. That's fun. But no, that was a good class. And speaking of learning stuff,
all right. So do you have any weirdos? Because there's always good stories if you have those eccentric dudes. But it was just a good solid class.
A lot of renewals. No real weirdos.
I only had one lady flag.
Oh, wait, no, times. You got to shoot your dream, and
I was slightly disappointed with the handgun. Just because I was saying, like, if I was going to buy a new handgun for competition, it would be the Beretta 92 XI SAO, single action only, because they do come red dot ready from the factory, and it's a single action only for Beretta that has a 1911 style safety, and you carry it cocked and locked. So I was like super stoked. It's like, ooh, yeah, like I love Beretta. This thing kind of checks all of my boxes for competition. And it kind of let me down. I know Garth loved it. Like, he was more excited about it than I was.
Well, I didn't get to shoot it, but just the feel of it, how it felt in my hand, was phenomenal. So, I mean, yeah, I would consider it maybe, but probably not, because,
Also, I think it was because I had hyped it up in my head to be more than what it was.
That happens.
And because I shot that, and then I let the gentleman shoot my one of my custom 320s. I know 320 scary, ooh, whatever. And no, but he was like, "Oh wow, that trigger's amazing." And I put like 3 rounds to the Beretta, and then I grabbed the 320, and I was like, "Shit, I made this trigger better." And so then after looking at it and a bunch of thought, I changed my mind as to how it is I would do it personally. And I would go with one of the new slide-mounted safeties or decockers. But I would rather have the standard G model, so I can play with the trigger and springs and things of that nature, because they are a little bit more prevalent, and I could make things run a little smoother like mine do.
Andrew's just on a roll tonight in the chat there.
You're going to send him another gift.
I might. No, actually, I did get to pull a U while we were at class this last week, so that was fun for me.
It was funny, like Garth skipped, like quite literally skipped, like one hand up in the air.
I mean, there was definitely a hand up in the air. I don't know if I skipped.
An ankle was in the air as well.
Maybe like big toe off the ground. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so we had a guy come through a class, good buddy of mine, and I won't use his name, so we'll call him Scott. Scott was his name. So he might listen to the show once in a while. So he goes through the class, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how long has it been since you shot your gun?" He's like, "Oh, probably the last class." And so he was shooting, and he wasn't hitting center and stuff like that. And I go, "Hey, practice makes perfect. You know, you got to get out and shoot." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. This gun's just off." I'm like, "Yeah, 99% of the time, it's not the gun's fault. It's the operator." "Oh, whatever. You shoot it after class, and you prove me wrong then." Well, I shot a 9 out of 10 group touching. And then he said some choice words to me, and then I told him to go home and practice. And so Nick was there, and I turned around, and I go, "I pulled a dually!" And it was like the Breakfast Club where I had my fist in the air. I was like, "Yeah!" But so it was fun for me.
Yeah, I saw joy in his eyes.
Oh, it was super joyful.
He was super happy.
Yeah.
He's like, "I finally get it." Oh, yeah. But no, speaking of learning things, we also, the three of us, went to the range on Sunday where we learned some things.
We did. I learned some things. I'll admit I was wrong.
I think we learned more about a different thing than what we were actually looking to learn.
Can we just tell everyone what we did so we can stop saying?
Well, we might as well get into it. That is the topic of this podcast.
Yeah. So, when we went out, Garth and I have had this ongoing discussion, and I know we've talked about it before on the air, and I have always said that, and I have told people in class, because I get asked, "What's the best gun for home defense?" And I have always stood by and said this, and I go, best thing for self-defense or like home defense, if you want to do it, especially if you're worried about over penetration or like going through multiple walls in a structure, is an AR-15 and 223 with lightweight bullets, 55 grain and under.
Yeah, he's always said that, and I always countered with, I want to shoot a 9mm because while just for the tactical standpoint of me not being awake and being able to handle a pistol better than a rifle, so, and just how I had my house set up and how I would defend it and stuff, I went, "Oh no, I think the pistol would suit me better." And then we always had the discussion of, well, what would penetrate the wall and how far would it actually go? And so to break the whole thing down, I had a carpenter buddy of mine build a couple walls for us, 2x4 and a 2x6 framed out wall, studs, insulation, sheetrock, plywood, the whole thing.
Siding the works.
Siding the works. And so we faced the first one at 12 yards away because I did some ranging in my house, and from where I would come out of my bedroom to my interior exterior wall where an intruder might enter my house was 12 yards. And then we set the next wall up at 25 yards because that would be the distance from my interior exterior wall to my neighbor's exterior interior wall, just to see if the penetration would actually happen. And so we went out and shot a variety of calibers. We shot in 22, 9mm, 223, and 12 gauge. And we shot blackout as well. And to be honest, I was surprised with a lot of the results that we took away from that. So we can dive into it now. And
I think so. Like I was saying earlier, I think we learned more about something. We didn't learn as much as what we wanted to, as opposed to we found out what terminal ballistics does after exiting a wall. And so these walls were what, 4x4 that we built?
Yep.
And we had a lot that there was no contact with the second wall. Now that could be like as Dooley said, it just the lighter rounds disintegrate. There's nothing left to penetrate. Or as we saw on
there was a lot of deviation.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, we're shooting low right on the first wall and it's high left on the second wall. So we ran into a lot of.
We did shoot from 3 different positions on the wall. Like, we did shoot from 3 different positions to try and get a control. And we finally did find a spot where we were getting consistent hits on both walls.
But there was a lot of rounds that didn't.
Yep,
it just didn't do it because
the deflection is a thing.
It's yeah. So if you're living in a single wide trailer, you're probably fine shooting because they're just going to go up above the roof. We assumed they might have gone left and right, but we were assuming they were going high. We only had one round that went through the first wall, skipped off the ground, and then into the in through the second wall, which I found kind of interesting that only one of them took a dive, and because we had pretty good grass to see what was going on in there.
And didn't keyhole either. It still left a perfect hole in the second wall, which was really impressive.
Yeah, it was when we got into it again, we were talking about so we shot 2 different grains of 22 out of a rifle. I do not recommend 22 long rifle for home defense or self-defense. No. That's a tagline. Also, one other thing, remember,
I'm going to argue that when you get to your point, because
well, I understand, but I'm also going to say that
let's go on, and
we are not attorneys, and this is not legal advice. Well, you could say that, but I have means and stuff behind it, because I'm going to this is the part where I'm going to be, I'm going to talk about math when we get into that, because I know what the argument is going to be where I say don't use a 22, because you're going to go, well, you were saying to shoot a 40 grain bullet and a 40 grain bullet
frangibles that
out of a 22, but the difference is speed.
Yeah.
And like 22s are going to be 1,500 feet per second to 2,000 versus 3,000 for
600 up to 4, maybe some of them
close to 4 for some of them.
Well, must the flash
you got some good old
house.
Oh no, Dooley's take backed up by memes. Yes, that's how I do all of my research.
Yeah.
But no, so we went through and we did shoot common 9mm. We do have someone who used to say, "What? I just carry whatever I'm going to shoot because no one wants to leak." And I know where they got that quote, but we changed from ball range ammo. We did shoot 3 varieties of hollow points, and as we ran through that, it pushed through very well. And the 12 gauge, well, 12 gauge just proved Clint Smith right.
So what was our first one that made contact?
Our first round that made contact through and through was 9mm. All of the 9mm went through and through, except for one loading. The Hornady critical duty, for whatever, I think it just expanded more. So
which is what it's supposed to do, because you want it ripping the insides apart. Not
I think it had more deviation in flight after it came out of the second, or out of the back side of the first wall.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm sure.
Go ahead.
But that was the only one that didn't go through and through for the 9. But we shot 115 grain ball, 124 grain ball, 124 grain Hornady critical duty Fiocchi, which I believe was loaded with a 114 grain Hornady hollow point, their XTP, and then there was another one in there that was a lighter weight.
And that was all through the pistol, and then we ran them through the PCC as well.
No, we only shot 4 through each through the PCC and pistol. It was 115, 124, 124 Fiocchi, GR, XTP, and 124 critical duty.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was weird because we started. Was it the very first round that made contact with the wall, that upper left spot?
Yep.
And then we had nothing, like through all the pistols, all the 223, and then actually the first one that made good solid contact was that 110 300 blackout. That was that first one I shot that actually hit basically in the same path that we had shot, and then the PCC we had a good one because we actually one of the PCC rounds went through, hit the fence post we had holding the wall, and broke it and then went through. So
yeah, on the second wall, that was
an interesting shot.
Yeah, I was super excited right away when only that first 9mm handgun round penetrated the second wall. I was like, haha, see?
But it hit the frame too. It wasn't through because it hit the frame, which I'm sure it would have gone through had it not hit too.
But it was all about our control spot, and once we figured that out, I was sadly proven wrong. And Nick just kept looking at me and smiling more and more and more every shot. I'm like, I know, shut up, it's fine.
No, so it is. I've said for a long time, and I know that other people have as well. So when it comes to rifles, speed kills. Like it's 100% a fact. And I know that here in a little bit we'll show some video that we'll talk over as we play it, showing we wound up with 3 bullet weights that did not have any through and through. Like surprisingly enough, we had one round that actually stopped in the 2x6, which is not surprising to me because we were shooting it's a 55 grain frangible solid copper slug.
Mm-hmm.
And so it came apart because that's what it's designed to do as soon as it hits something hard, which is kind of what you want, but I'm not going to say it's exactly what you want in a defensive round.
Well, we should premise, though, minus that one, every round we shot was a through and through on the first wall. So
yes,
if you did not hit your intended target in a self-defense situation, no matter what you're using, even down to a 22, it's going to punch through a wall. And that's why tonight's show is called Rule 4.
And that I think becomes
Rule 34 or 32.
I think that comes more important to not like you were doing it. Garth wanted to know, if I shoot and miss, will I hit my neighbor? It's more interesting to know if where you're shooting are your kids in the behind that wall, is where I'd be more worried than am I going to hit my neighbor.
Well,
we tested it on, will it go through my house, go across the street and go into the neighbor's house?
Yeah.
What we did know, and it's hard to say because like I said, we had a lot of rounds that didn't make contact for one reason or another, but we do know that if you're shooting at your bedroom where your wife's at or where your kids are, it's going through that wall.
Oh, 100%.
So that's something to be cognizant of if you have to shoot.
No, Dr. Scary Guy, we did not, because I don't have any left. I didn't even think about bringing that stuff either. I don't think I have any rounds left of that.
Sweet, Bob, I'm all in. I'm glad to hear that. I realized after I got up there, I had forgotten some of the 9 that I have at home because I have the G9 Defense, but I figured that would have tore right through any barriers because I've seen what that does in bone and flesh. But no, when we were shooting it, it was super interesting, and we do have the walls still. We just had to slap some new sheetrock on them.
I got plenty of sheetrock.
We can recreate this at a closer distance, just see what that would be for the Battle of the Bedroom, and as I affectionately call it. But no, it was.
I don't need to know what's going on in your bedroom. None of us care.
It's not a lot, trust me. But
it's a battle for who gets to go to bed first. You take the dog out.
That's why I have a dog door now. But no. Actually, we are going to take a quick break from talking about this topic to talk about GunCon. Guys, tickets are on sale. They are on sale and live now. So you can go and buy your tickets to come to GunCon. You want to hang out?
Number? Is it 2,000 to the public? Or?
Yep, 2,000 tickets are going to be sold to the public. You can come buy tickets and come hang out with us. We will be there. We will be live. And they are ready to go. There will be no tickets sold there. And but yeah, tickets are live. They are on sale now. at guncon.net.
To the sunny beaches of Cleveland.
Yes, because all the little chicks with the crimson lips go Cleveland Rocks. Cleveland Rocks.
Nice.
So, Bob over here from Gideon says, my walls do not allow 9mm to go all the way through, but a couple of my ceiling and floors will. And, that is good to know. But so with that, we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that you could go there and you could get, you could come see, you could come hang out with us. And more importantly,
at your own risk.
Yeah, at your own peril. We hold no risk for what may happen to you. But you know what we also will say? If you come, you could get to meet VZ Grips. And VZ Grips is great because they're machined from a solid block of G10 and it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered in mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options are available. As well as shorty versions, 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard slim palms, well, slim notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. There's one coupon code good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 podcast.
Nice. Actually, Nick, if they come to GunCon, there's a good chance they're going to meet Klecker for sure, because that's where we met him last year at GunCon, and we had a great time. So with that said, are you in need of a reliable custom Kydex holster? Klecker Tactical is your one-stop shop. Using premium USA sourced material, Klecker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors, along with light and laser options. Whether you're in law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust Klecker Tactical will provide a firearm. Every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as quality and custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off at CleckerTactical.com.
And Gideon Optics will have a custom Gideon Optics limited edition GunCon decal.
Oh,
we're
man.
told will be fire, and it is worth the price of admission.
It's a good thing we're getting it for free.
Oh. Yes. So there we go, folks. You have that. Everyone should come check it out. It is a good time. It is a great time. You get to hang out with a bunch of other cool people and hang out with a lot of the brands. And
should we let them in on what we were discussing earlier this week? Like, there's a possibility. We're not gonna make a promise on this yet, but we might actually do a live show with a live audience, so you guys could be part of the actual show.
Yes, we
don't know the details on it yet. We aren't making any promises, but we have talked about it. Yep. So if you want to be a part, if you want to be live on the AR-15 podcast, show up and we'll see what happens. We might just throw a podcast together and everybody's just there.
Well, I mean, here's what I can say about this whole thing. There won't be a pool this year, but there might be a lake.
Yes, indeedy. But no. So anyways, snap back to reality. Yes, definitely with man hugs.
Oh yeah,
but it's going to be more like a lake creature.
Swamp Thing. I know.
But
I'm gonna mute myself now.
Well, okay. Anyway, no. So, but when we were shooting this stuff, as Joe was talking about, we were getting down to kind of the most common things that people would be using, and there are a variety of things that you can do to make things more bullet resistant, but we're not here to talk about those. We're primarily talking about the data that we recovered from this, and we will have some videos about it coming out later to show what happened as we shot everything. There were 3 rounds that did not impact at all, and we have those that did not impact on the second wall. So we picked those 3 and shot them into ballistics gelatin, and we have the video from the ballistics gel, and we will show that now. So if you guys can, or this
how
is
slow do you have this? Do you have it slowed down, or is this
I slowed it down.
Okay.
So this first shot here is with a 40 grain ballistic tip. I believe it was SIG branded, but it would be a Sierra, because I want to say SIG uses Sierra because it was a green tip bullet, but it's a 40 grain ballistic tip bullet, traveling at, I want to say 300 feet per second. So I'm going to pause that as we come back here and roll this forward just a little bit. So for anyone,
you're showing that at full speed. Back it up. Back it up. You'll click on that 1X. I'm pointing at it. And you
don't worry, I'll do it'll slow down later.
Oh, you have a full.
Yeah,
we can slow it down now.
Okay, perfect.
So as this comes through,
so we can really slow it down. If you've already slowed it down, we can slow it down more.
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay. But now as this goes through, you can actually see the hydrostatic shock broke the table as that round was captured. So as we're watching this, you can see that first one. I mean, that jumps a solid 6 to 8 inches off the table, and that slug stopped at about 8 inches of penetration.
Yeah, so through a human body,
4 times more than Garth gets.
Wow, that hurtful.
It was there.
I know.
I mean, I did see what you guys did to the wound hole. So
Nick started it.
Oh.
So here, Nick, that's a perfect of the spread of the bullet there.
So that shows, like, this is the entrance hole here. And then as that went through, I mean, that just completely came apart.
Yeah, that's what it's going to do in your chest cavity. So it's going to rip up your lungs. It's going to rip up.
Oh, yeah, those fragments are going every which way. The first.
With that in your gut, man, you gut shoot somebody with that, they're done.
So here you go. You can again see the biggest part of the lead slug, but all that jacketing that came apart in that round. So that is what I'm going to say, that is an impressive display of potential energy being expended.
Yeah.
And that round's probably not, that was that one that didn't make it through. So that's going to be good in body and not a big concern beyond that.
Yep. So now I'm going to hit play and bring us back up to normal speed until we. So now we just fired. I'm going to go back to slow down. And this is a 55 grain frangible bullet. And again, you can see that dumped everything. And that put a lot more, it came in deeper and then dumped all of its energy as it went through.
Mm-hmm.
And this was another round that did not exit.
And this was the 55 frangible, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So if we look at it here in the super slow motion,
things get jiggly. But yeah, so what did we say? Like, how was it? This block like a foot long?
No, this is the block is 18 inches long.
18 inches long, so it was about 16 inches of penetration then, when it's all said and done.
Correct. And that is like ostensibly a ball bullet, but it just is designed to completely have it come apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I'm going to talk about quick here, as you look through, you can see this, and we only show it from this one angle right now, but this large, or so anybody looking at this, midway through the block, there's a large cavitation that you can see where the gel was disturbed. This worked like a ribbon, and then that cavitation kept expanding if you looked at it from the top, and it was like a blade that went through and just cut as it twisted. It looked really neat. It looks like a really messed up airplane propeller. So now as this keeps playing here, I'm going to push this back up to normal speed. And there we have a picture just from the other angle, seeing what that cavitation looked like. And now, as that went through, we just saw This was a 55 grain hollow point boat tail bullet. And when that hit, it stopped at about 14 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And we had cavitation and punch all the way through. And this probably had the best average between the two. If you were worried about getting through a harder layer, I would not be afraid to use this for anything.
No, yeah. I mean, each of them, you know, again, didn't penetrate the second wall. So that's kind of what we're basing everything off of. And between the three of them, like you said, Nick, this one probably is the middle ground of everything. Personally, just for my well-being and for peace of mind, I'd probably still shoot the 40 grain, just because I know that on impact of anything, it's gonna separate like it did in the gelatin there.
Yeah, and guys, let us know if you want more data like this. I realize for all the audio listeners that this is kind of hard to look at because we are looking at a visual medium right now. And as this comes through, it would be neat. I would like to know if you guys want to see more of this. So as we pause here, I am going to say, if you look here at about the 14-inch mark, where the other bullet completely came apart, you can see the lead slug left over stopped and had complete arrest. And you had all of the punch come through, and it is, you know, as it comes through, it has the same amount of cavitation and expansion as the 40% or the 40 grain did. And then it just had that extra penetration from the slug. And then we did have a question here from the chat asking if this is 10% FBI or 20% NATO gel. And this was 10% FBI gel. So this was done to FBI standards, not to NATO standards, which are slightly different. And this block was purchased from clearballistics.com. They did not give us anything. We paid our own money for it so we could run this test and give you guys the data. And I know that I nerded out and got super into this because, well, this directly appeals to my type of tism.
Hang on, Nick. Keep it on this for just one more second. Just to point out, because they'll see another ball down here below that. Yep, that is a 22 round, because I did shoot it once with a 22 just to see in comparison from a 223, and that's about where it stopped in. So we're
that was off the 40 grain.
No, sir.
Yeah, right there. That's the 40 grain. We didn't shoot it with a 22 till after.
No,
that's the 40 grain. That ball right there.
Okay.
Like you can see my mouse moving on it, right?
No, I can't. My screen went dark.
Oh.
I'm lying. I can see it.
No. I was like, yeah, right there. That ball is
no. Yep. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, because when we come back here, that's the same ball.
Yep.
As is that. The 22, when we started doing more, that was after the fact.
I thought it was before, but
no,
we did a lot of shooting that day, so
yeah, we shot it with the 22 after, because we were going to have the best, clearest gel for everything, and then as we went through, because, well, hi kids, do you like violence? We did close out with a 1 ounce rifled slug.
And the slugs were cool. So yes. And spoiler, it went all the way through.
Yeah, which should shop no one.
No.
We didn't even talk about the slugs and the bird or the buckshot we were shooting. That's when we shot the wall with a slug, it cleared the other wall and landed another 50 yards.
Yeah, 50, 75 yards away.
Somewhere back.
Furrowed a foot in the ground.
Went through, went over, and then we saw where it hit, and it left a pretty good chunk of dirt that it ripped up when it hit. So a lot of that comes down to now. So what is the right what should you use for home defense? Well, it kind of depends on how close your neighbors are too. I mean, if you're living out in the country, you only got a neighbor for a mile, you pretty much use whatever you want. Then you're looking at more like, what am I going to do to the 2
I've said before, if you want to use a lottie for home defense, I mean, rock on. We should hang out. But also, like, that's for shooting it on the other side of the skyscraper, I guess, because I'm not sure. Like a lottie will go through a Panzer. But no, it does depend on your situation. But if you are concerned about over penetration, lightweight 5.56 all day long, and we have empirical data that shows it. And that is just one of those things, because I am a very data-driven person. I love empirical data, much like we also have empirical data that you need awesome stickers. And if you need awesome stickers, then you need to check out Sticker Phantom, where you can get all kinds of base stickers like the Based Bluey, Steamboat Willie, and much more. They produce all of our stickers, and if you come to GunCon, well, by God, you'll probably get some. And you can get them to make your own for 10% off with the code ARPodcast.
Yeah, definitely go check them out, guys. I've done a lot of work with them in a short amount of time, and he's treated me right on everything I've done with them. So they're quality.
Yes, indeedy. No, so as we were talking about earlier, and I know that J. Rawls says definitely like to see more of this kind of research and content. We will have a little bit more of it coming. I know that not everyone likes it, and I get to nerd out. But every now and then we can't, we have to make sure that I only go down the super nerd rabbit hole every now and then. Or otherwise, when I sit here and if you see me pull out a whiteboard and start doing math equations behind me, and that'll be the time when Garth's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to sleep over here.
Well, if this has been a fun show, I'll just be leaving now.
All right, guys, let me explain by math how this works. and
remember, we'll have some more comprehensive data up on Rumble and YouTube and probably Facebook and once we get done with some editing and stuff like that on it.
Give me a week and I should have it up on the social medias.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was more not interested, but
intrigued by
the terminal ballistics that we found, where you would think going through a wall, it's gonna just slow it down, it's gonna go, but we had rounds shooting at the same, say, 6-inch circle. Some were high left, high right, low, like they were all over the place. So there's a lot that goes on when that round goes through. So that's it. So, if you're, watching Hollywood movies and they're trying to shoot somebody through a wall because that's where the heat signature is, they're probably not getting a good hit because that's not going straight through and straight through. I would love to have had get like a big giant sheet of canvas paper to put behind like say 5 feet behind it and see where those rounds end up going.
Well, yeah, even if we did cardboard or something like that.
Yeah, just something so you could be like, all right, I shot it here in that one, and it'd be fun to, like I said, I remember the first time I ever went to a night range in the Army, and we they're shooting tracers, and where some of those rounds were ricocheting to, it's like, I'm surprised more people don't get hit because they go everywhere. It's not just skip and go straight ahead. They're shooting almost 45 degrees off. It's pretty crazy.
It'd be interesting to do that and just see how many are actually keyholing and at different angles and stuff. So in the future, we might have to get like a 10 by 10 sheet of cardboard and place it not 25 yards away, but like maybe 10 yards away, and just see what those rounds are actually doing.
We never really did check. We should have brought a stick and done like CSI where it went in the one hole, like how straight was it even in that 6 to 4 inch gap between the wall and the sheet in the siding.
Yeah.
Like, how much is it already starting to move? We didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we could have definitely. We can make it more scientific as we go through there, and it will definitely push things through.
Correct.
Oh, I was just going to show that one. Yeah, 100%. We're saying an AR with 5.56 is, depending on what grain you're going. Again, it's going to be good no matter what you're shooting. It's what the test was to see.
I will say unilaterally, it is probably the best thing for self-defense.
Yeah. We were looking at more, where does that round go if you're in a subdivision that's packed with houses or a trailer court or something like that? Because that's going to be
even an apartment.
Yeah. Huge in an apartment. Again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, like knowing. So that's your kitchen that guy just entered. If you miss, is that your neighbor's bedroom? Like, are they going to get shot laying in bed? Because in a darkened half of, none of us train waking up in the middle of the night and having to shoot before your eyes have adjusted. It's almost impossible to do. So I don't care how good you're shooting at the range, when your heart's pumping because someone just kicked your door in or is sneaking around in your house, you're probably not as good a shot as you think you are.
And that's why we call it rule number 4. Be sure of your target and what is behind it. We call this the danger zone.
Yep.
Now everyone's got that in their head.
No, and this is just one of those where, again, guys, you don't have to take our word for it. I know some people didn't.
What?
But there's a bunch of tests like this. A lot of people have done it. We're probably going to do more of the ballistics testing in the future. I think since I found out how to do some of the reusing of our ballistics gelatin, and
or you can give us stars on Facebook and give us. We haven't got any tonight.
Oh yes, we have. We've got.
Have you guys tonight? You usually call it out.
Oh no, yeah. We have got 2 Rumble rants tonight, and
just remember that's where we use the money for is cool stuff, not just whiskey and cigars.
Yeah, so that's correct. But we will also take whiskey and cigars.
Yes.
So what type of scope or sights? That's going to be whatever you're most confident with. Goat. That's what I'm going to say, because it's what you're trained with and what's your best. For home defense, I will often tell people to run a red dot. Run something like, actually, if you want to get down to it, anything with a shake awake feature. The Gideons have the shake awake feature. You can set that for whatever low light or mid light you're going to have, and then if you have bright light conditions, you'll still have that etched reticle, and that's one of the times when a prism shines.
Yeah, definitely get a optic though, not the actual shake weight.
Yeah, shake awake, not shake weight. Yeah,
that's where my head went.
I'm sure that's just that motion.
That's the ADD kicking in, man. The squirrels are out again.
But no, so we will probably be doing some more of this. We're not going to turn into a full nerd channel, but
I won't allow it.
We'll have stuff that we can look at and see, because if we get down to like actual ballistics testing where it's going through the gelatin with layers of denim and cotton to show what it would do touching like shooting through clothing, that would be one thing. But we're not going to do that right now.
No, we're not. But we are going to talk about Patriot Patch. PatriotPatch.co for all your patch needs. They have 10 signs. They have patches, guys. They have the Patch of the Month Club. If you are not signed up by now, I don't know why I keep saying it, but you've got to sign up, because the Patch of the Month Club is awesome, because you get free patches every month, like the one Nick's holding in his hand right now. So go check out Patriot Patch, PatriotPatch.co.
And they have more cool stuff on the way that I'm not allowed to talk about yet.
We're not, but we are excited about it.
Yeah. Touching cotton. That just sounds odd. I thought it was supposed to be touch grass.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
I don't want to know. No, guys, do you have anything else to add tonight as we go through in closing? I know that for our audio listeners, I apologize that we had so much visual stuff where we referenced for a little while there talking about what was going on in our medium. But they'll just tell you, hey, guys, you should come check it out on Rumble or come back and read it so you can look at it. They're not read it, watch it.
Come hang out with us. Come hang out with the guys who watch live. It's a fun time. They just go off and do their own thing most of the show.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're listening to us or if they're just or if they're actually just paying attention to each other.
I think it's
we're just a place for them to meet.
Oh yeah, we're 100% a meetup hangout place, and one of us might say something cool once in a while, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds neat."
Hey, you know, that's okay. I'll take it. I'm proud and I love them. These guys are awesome.
I'm not saying anything bad against it. That's how I focus most of the time too. So
we know.
Oh yeah, everyone knows.
But no, guys, we do have some more cool stuff coming up here. I know that as we have April's actually going to have a lot of guests as we move forward, and we will have at least one night coming up in April that we will not have our standard night. We'll be live on Wednesday the 9th instead of the 10th.
Correct. Because the 10th, Nick's got something going on, and I'm going to go to midget wrestling.
I thought that was a flop last year when you went.
It was, but it's $25. What else do I got to do on a Thursday night now?
Same place?
Yeah. I mean, if we're not in the field, which we're probably in the field anyway, but the off chance I might go see some midgets wrestle.
No, and that will be a fun episode. And I know that we have a lot of really good guests coming up. We have a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. New things coming that people are excited to talk about, and we're excited to have them on. Garth, do you have anything to add tonight?
Nothing that you're not going to cover. So I will see you guys back here next week, hopefully.
If there's anyone you would like to see for guests, let us know. We can reach out to people if they, send us their name and why you think they'd be a good guest on the show, and we'll reach out to them. We're good for that. Beyond that, follow, subscribe to our socials and other other 2A social media groups. Share it, like it, comments, anything you can do just helps to build it all. So
yes, and anyone know what's going on with Gideon's extra large red dot that was revealed a few weeks ago? Not yet. It's still coming soon, but it's not out yet.
Story of my life.
No, so guys, as we go through here, Gideon's responding as we go through here, and all right, I have one thing to touch on here, and whatever happened to the Magpul DVD people? Are you talking about the instructors or the students? Because I have a feeling they went in very separate directions, but no, I too remember those. And guys, as we move through here, I know that I'm excited to have you here. It is a pleasure every time we're here. We love that you guys are listening. Anytime we interact with you or you guys want to interact with us, please reach out. We love to hear from everyone. And as we push forward, also, Gideon, what he was talking about was the Mediator XL that Mike showed. I think that is still a little ways out.
They're bringing extras so we can bring some home from GunCon, right?
I mean, so.
Right?
I wouldn't say
It made its debut on our show. So we better get first dibs at torture testing and reviewing one.
Yep. But guys, I am going to say, as we push through here, guys, when we look out, everyone remember that you are going to be your own first responder. plan on that. Go out, get training, because no one is coming to save you. And with that, you folks out there, you stay safe and stay armed.